This one. This is a Drewberry video that is called, we have seen, watched Drewberry videos before and they are cool. I like how he talks, so it is cool. And the video is called Are Tech Cards a Problem? Marvel Snap. So I wanted to take a look because tech cards are kind of a problem in the sense that they are too powerful. Because you have cards, well, he has them right here, like Armor, Killmonger, Cosmo, that they offer cool abilities, and on top of that, they have a good stat line. Brother, they have to reduce the power on tech cards. But I am getting ahead of myself. Maybe he's going to talk about it, so let's take a look.
Yo, what's up everybody? It's Drewberry, and today we're doing a discussion video on tech cards. Now, this was inspired from a video by KM Best, who is notably one of the best Marvel Snap players to exist. He got to like infinite rank 250, just nuts season over season. He's one of the best. And then also I was chilling on Molt's stream as I do on my lunch breaks, and this conversation came up again, and I'm seeing more and more posts about it, so I kind of wanted to give my take on it, and that is tech cards in Marvel Snap. Now, KM Best does a fantastic job. I'm going to link his video and Molt's channel in the description below if you want to check out their content to see those discussions happening in real time. But he does a fantastic job of breaking down why tech cards are a bit of a problem in Marvel Snap. And in particular, he covers why leaders are a problem and how it kind of ties in to tech cards.
By the way, I watched that video by KM Best offline in my own time. I watched that video and it was a cool video. It was a fucking cool video.
So we'll get into that in just a second. So you're probably wondering, what is a tech card? It's a bit of a gray area because that is going to change dependent on the meta. The description above, I think, rings the most true for me. I found a few descriptions online. I think they all kind of say the same thing, in that a tech card is a card that is not necessary to complete the strategy of the deck, okay? So you're putting it in despite not synergizing with your core idea of your deck. It is added to the list to help with certain matchups or strengthen up weaknesses. So you're basically, another way of saying this, and
what the simplest way of saying it, it is just a card to counter something. Like you have a deck and you have one or two spots that you can put anything in there, because you already in 10 cards you already have like the strategy of your deck covered, and you have to fill one or two holes and you put in there. Yo, Real Raptor, brother, thank you very much for the follow. You're fucking awesome, dude. Thank you very much, dude. Welcome. So fucking cool, dude. So you slam two cards in there that are tech cards because they counter whatever is bullshit on the ladder right now. That are tech cards, brother. Everything is good, brother. Everything is good. How is it for you, my dude? I hope everything is cool for you too, dude.
From how I interpret tech cards, is a counter option to the active meta. Okay.
He said it that it is a counter for the active meta. Brother, Drew, again, we are fucking connected again, because that is what I just said, dude.
Okay, so you're throwing it in there to counter whatever's going on so that you have an advantage in case it comes up. So my question is it good or bad if tech cards are the most played cards in Snap? And the whole reason I'm making this video is, well, inspired by these two right here, but also
it is bad. It's fucking bullshit. I hate it, because no one is trying to pull off their strategy but to counter everybody else's strategies.
Because if you look at the win rates here, which KM Best also mentioned, this is from Snap.fan, the games seen from top to bottom of all Marvel Snap cards in the last season. And look at all of these tech cards. Whether you consider these tech or not, if you want to call them counter, be my guest, doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is that all these are being thrown into decks. And the problem that I have is almost all of them are in the same deck. See, I don't mind if tech
exactly cards... the deck that is the good pile deck or whatever, that you play 8 or you play the leader, you play Enchantress, you play Shang-Chi in that deck. So all you do is just bullshit the opponent. That is what you do. That is your strategy. There is not even a core strategy for the deck. Your strategy is having cool good cards. That is your strategy. Fuck that bullshit. fuck that bullshit. Of course, tech cards has to exist to the game, so the game is healthy. They have to exist, and these cards are strong for their abilities. We are cool with their abilities, except for the leader. The leader is fucking bullshit, but the other ones are cool for their ability. But on top of that, you have something like Cosmo and Killmonger. I believe these two, apart from the leader, are the biggest offenders, and maybe Armor, where you have a great ability, and on top of that, you have cool power for the cost of the card. So, brother, Cosmo would be awesome at 3-1, you know, and Killmonger too. The ability for Killmonger that completely counters a Su deck to the greatest extent, and you still get 3 power. Brother, that is fucking too much, dude. That is fucking too much.
Are being played. I think I'm of the opinion tech cards are extremely healthy. We have to have tech against everything. I think it's necessary, but I think it's at its best when it is the last card put in.
Oh, Iceman is fucking bullshit too. I forgot talking about Iceman. You are right, brother. Iceman is fucking bullshit because it always hits what he has to hit. Apart from that, he's just a one-cost card, and apart from that, he has 2 power. So you have Iceman in the same category as you have as M'Baku. Why the fuck would you play an M'Baku if you can play an Iceman?
In your deck, the 12th or 11th option when you're deck building, and not the first 5 or whatever you want to call it. Unless you're doing a pure control deck, then maybe that could be the case. But if you do assemble a deck like that, in my opinion, it shouldn't do very well because you
exactly. In what other card game, brother? I don't remember, brother. I played a whole fucking lot of Went. I played a fucking lot of Hearthstone, and there was no deck where you just played all the bullshit tech cards of the game and you win. That didn't exist in the times I played those games. That didn't fucking exist. Of course, you included tech cards in your decks, of course, but you included a couple of them. There was no deck that was one of the top 3 or top 5 decks, like right now it is in Marvel Snap, that was just a bunch of tech cards. So that in itself is a problem, my dude.
You should just be countering with a bunch of different options of.
And I guarantee you, real rat, that eventually Iceman will get nerfed. Iceman will get nerfed eventually for sure, because a lot of people complain about Iceman, and they have these statistics about the play rate of Iceman, and they know that when you take into consideration, because I don't know if he's overpowered, it is annoying as fuck. But the problem with Iceman is that he just overrides every other 1-drop. It is like, why would you play something else if you can play Iceman? That is the stuff with Iceman, that it is kind of the best 1-drop in the game, so you always play Iceman instead of another 1-drop, because why the fuck would you play something else? That is why he needs a nerf.
A variety of decks, but with just 1 card, right? So you have your on reveal counter, you have your ongoing counter, your destroy counter, but maybe the decks that you play don't really focus on that, and then you're probably going to have a hard time. So those control decks shouldn't really work. Well, right now there are decks with Cosmo, Killmonger, Armor, Leader, Scorpion, Iceman, Arrow. Literally, that is one of like the top decks right now, and then there's the leech thing going on. So another big point here is Leader really a tech card, you know? And KM Best in his video, he describes it a lot better than I ever can. But essentially, yes, because it just counters everything your opponent wants to do on turn 6. It's literally, you wanted to do a fun thing on turn 6.
Supposedly, what I remember that KM Best tried to say in his video is that Leader counters point slam. Like, if you have something like Death Wave She-Hulk on the last turn, the Leader counters that. And he argues that if the Leader doesn't exist, those decks are the best decks in the game. But at the same time, brother, you have to have a strategy to pull that off. You have to destroy stuff, you have to draw your She-Hulk, you have to draw your wave, you have to draw your death, you have to do a lot of stuff to be able to put that strategy. Yes, it is a lot of fucking points, but you have to do a whole lot of bullshit to do it. And with the Leader, just play the fucking Leader. It is not fun, my dude. And there are other ways of nerfing that. If you consider that deck is too strong, there are other ways of nerfing that deck that doesn't involve having a bullshit leader that fucks over the game in other ways, you know, because you could fix the interaction for wave, for example, or nerf Death or nerf She-Hulk or whatever.
Well, guess what? I played Leader and I just get whatever you were hoping to play. Obviously, Leader himself can be countered, and there's Cosmo and stuff like that. But overall, I think he's a tech option. Like, people are just slotting him in there for that turn 6 win. Like, I don't think you're really built.
Exactly. Leader is being played in a... Brother, today I got a Leader. In what deck was that bullshit? It was something like, why are you playing Leader, brother? A deck that I have never seen Leader played in. Because now everybody puts a fucking Leader in their deck, because why wouldn't you do it? It's the strongest card in the game, and you can have your strategy with other bullshit, and you just slot a Leader in there, and from time to time he gives you a win. So that's it. Exactly. I have a video with the Death Wave deck where I also play a Leader in that deck, brother. Imagine that bullshit. How stupid is that? You don't like the solution of not copying every lane but only his lane. That is a cool solution. There is also another solution that people have suggested, is that he doesn't copy the on reveals or the ongoings. He only copies the card but not the ability. But maybe that is like useless, you know.
Building the deck around Leader, you're not supposed.
Aero is one of the best cards in the game, even with the nerf, brother. Even with the 1-point nerf that they are going to give her, it is one of the best cards.
Porting him in any fashion. The Leech Leader is in a combo, and maybe that in its own right could be its own deck. But I think for the most part, what's at the top of the meta is a total tech deck. And I think there's a bit of a problem, and I think people are really, really frustrated about it. So let's get into the bad. All right, so the bad.
Okay. Yes, the Leader power is irrelevant, and with Aero it is a little more important, but with the Leader it's irrelevant.
So I have the bad and the good. Remember, I'm 50-50 on this topic, okay? I like tech cards, but there's some problems, and here they are, in my opinion.
Brother, yes, Drew, we all love tech cards. In card games, tech cards are a necessity. If they don't exist, the game can't evolve in some bullshit. They are a necessity, but in Marvel Snap, as we already discussed, tech cards are too powerful to the point where building a deck with all tech cards is the best deck in the game. That is stupid. That is fucking stupid. And of course, the bad equals the Leader. Brother, we all know it. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. The Leader is the worst fucking bullshit in the game.
Leader. Yeah, no brainer. Leader. He's an absolute menace right now. Everyone's tilted about him. Everybody wants him to change, and within good reason. It's just not that fun to be on turn 6 and be like thinking about your really cool turn that you can pull off, but it won't be that cool because your opponent's going to do the exact same thing as you, +4 power. Feels bad. Now, obviously,
exactly, brother. And not even the person playing the Leader is having fun, because you don't have to think anything. You just play the Leader and wait. It is not fun for anybody involved. The Leader is stupid.
there's scenarios where you can make a play and then Leader won't copy it exactly, so they kind of get wrecked. Or you could play Cosmo and shut down the Leader if you can guess where it's going to be played. But for the most part, it's a bit of a checkmate if you're
and then they don't play the Leader. That is the bullshit with the Leader, that he warps how the game is played, because you have always to think, what if they play the Leader? What if they fucking play the Leader? Then you play like they are going to play the Leader and they play something else. So it is fucking stupid, because you always have to think about the fucking Leader. An ability reward for Leader could be that he only copies one existing card on each location. So cards that are already played, but that is a lot of fucking power, my dude, right? And in this case, you already know what you could be copying.
And just is trying to output power. Leader is going to stop you and just copy and win the game. And the worst part about Leader, I think, is that he is a turn 6 play. So you don't even have the opportunity to retreat and save your cubes if you wanted to. It's already happened. Sometimes people get leader out on 5, but if they're doing that, they're probably going to follow up with an Odin and just double copy whatever you got. So in the end, you end up losing those extra cubes because you're super stoked on your big combo that you're about to play, and then you just get wrecked by leader. It's really
and you can't retreat to the leader. So you have this like paranoia on the 5th turn, like, are they going to play the leader? Should I retreat if they play the leader? But what if they don't play the leader? So you have this paranoia fucking up your brain because the leader exists, brother. Copy the first card played. That is a cool one. Yes, I like that one. Only copy the first card is a cool one. Only copying his lane is a cool one too. And only copying the power and not the ability is a cool one too.
Player base right now is a little upset with it, and the nerf is probably on its way. But let's look at the tech cards a little bit more in detail. So I believe that some tech cards should have a counter. Check this out. So I'm a huge fan of Fire Emblem, okay? So I played a lot of Fire Emblem, and they do the simple weapon triangle, right? So your sword beats your axe beats your spear beats your sword, and it just goes around, and you kind of have to work with that circle of life, okay? But in Marvel Snap, every counter has its own stat line. It also has a different way of countering or teching into the game, which kind of creates a little bit of problems, I think, because now the balance isn't quite there. Now, obviously, they do have to be different. It'd be really boring if they were all the same. If they all just cost 3, had 3 power, and they countered a thing, well, then that would just be lame. They have to be unique, right? They have to be unique cards, but they can still be balanced. Let's look at Cosmo. I think he's the biggest.
Cosmo is one of the worst offenders because how one of you said earlier in the chat, Cosmo has no counter. You can do anything about Cosmo because the only card that defuses, there are 2 cards that defuse ongoing abilities. Cosmo is an ongoing ability. The 2 cards that defuse ongoing abilities are on reveal abilities. And those are Enchantress and Rogue. So if you play an Enchantress or a Rogue trying to defuse the Cosmo, you won't be able to do it because the on reveal won't trigger because the Cosmo prevents the on reveal. So there is no way of getting around the Cosmo ability. Playing in another lane. That is all you can do. Play on another fucking lane. And Sandman is one of the strongest abilities. I like Sandman a lot, brother. But yes, the problem with Sandman is that he has 1 power. And that should be the case with these cards here. That should be the case. It doesn't matter that everybody has them because in CDC, when I am full CDC, when you are CDC, like I am full CDC, and everybody has the cards, they still play these cards. It doesn't matter that they are for pool 1 and pool 2 because they are the best cards. So you just play them. It doesn't matter that everybody has them.
Biggest problem actually of the tech cards for a few reasons. Whether you don't like Cosmo, you think he's fine, whatever. Here's some facts. Cosmo counters on reveal cards. On reveal cards are the most popular cards in Marvel Snap that are printed to date.
And they are fun. On reveals are fun, brother. On reveal is my favorite keyword in the game, brother. On reveal is fucking cool. It's fun. It is awesome. Well, and this card, I love this card archetypes, but these cards are on reveals, so it is kind of, yes, on reveal is the best fucking shit.
A little under 200 cards in the game right now. As of December 2022. If you're watching this in the future, it might have changed. But he then counters 108. That's over 50% of cards in the game that he straight up silences. He just straight up says, no, you don't get to do what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
Now, there's some conditions to Cosmo that makes him a little bit more within reason. Okay, 1, he only counters 1 lane, right? So he has to guess which lane you're going to play.
And he counters the own player that is playing the card too. But if you are playing the card, you are playing the card when he is going to fog you. and you know what you are doing. You are building your deck around having Cosmo in the deck, so it isn't the same bullshit. It is a lot more disadvantageous for the opponent than for you.
3 power for 3 cost. Honestly, that's kind of good. It's not that.
Brother, it is good. Cosmo should be a 3. If you aren't going to give me a counter for the Cosmo ability, he should be like a 3-1, something like that, brother.
Bad, which is kind of frustrating on his own right. And then 3, oh wait, there's no 3. Dude, like what else is bad about Cosmo? Not really anything.
Nothing.
Which
Cosmo
is
is
why
great.
he's so easy to be thrown in a bunch of decks, because you're probably going to screw up your opponent at some point. A lot of the destroy decks, a lot of the discard decks rely on reveals. They get shut down. On reveal decks themselves, you wanted to do a big Wong Black Panther combo or whatever have you, well, Cosmo shuts that down.
And the stuff is that all these things are combos, you know, like he's talking about the Wong Black Panther. That is a combo. I like the Invisible Woman discard stuff. That is a combo. I am doing a lot of stuff to get something out of my strategy, and he only needs to play one little dog and I am completely screwed. Killmonger kinda has to exist, but with less power. I like Killmonger. I think Killmonger is cool, but he's too powerful right now. And yes, they need to add new keywords, and I believe they will do it at some point, because that is typical of card games, that they introduce new keywords at some point. Exactly, what Code just said is something that negates Cosmo, but at the same time, it is really powerful, so maybe less power than 3, you know, because you shut down a lot of stuff. You shut down a Patriot, you shut down and being ongoing, it is really powerful. You shut down all those powerful ongoings, the Cerebros, the Patriots, the Mystiques, the Blue Marbles, the Onslaughts, and all that bullshit. But something like that should exist to counter Cosmo, because Cosmo is right now is impossible to counter.
And that brings me to a fair point. It's good that he shuts that down. That combo would be bonkers if Cosmo didn't exist, right? Everybody would be running it because it'd be way too consistent and easy. So Cosmo is a necessary evil, as are all of these tech cards, okay? But geez, I really feel like we could pedal back on Cosmo a little bit. He's got way too much good going for him. He shouldn't have.
Exactly. He needs to exist, but he's too good. He's too fucking good.
The stat line that he does, I think maybe he should be 1 power or 0 power, and then okay, miss rate, negative issues possibly. Okay, maybe we don't mess with his power. Let's make him 4, because as you're gonna see in the good, there's a card that I think is balanced that shuts down an entire archetype that costs more than Cosmo, but the benefits aren't quite there to make it balanced. We'll get there in a second. But lastly,
maybe that is the Sandman. Maybe there is a Sandman.
I just want to note on how it doesn't feel good when you get teched against. Okay, so like if your opponent's deck is aimed at shutting down your deck and you just happen to.
Exactly, Real Raptor. What you said is true. There are two tech cards that we are thinking about. One is Sandman and now the Rogue. That they are tech cards and they are cool and are fun, but they are not that powerful because they have low power. So, and there are going to people saying, well, if you reduce power, you buff Mr. Negative. Fuck Mr. Negative. I don't give a fuck if I buff Mr. Negative, brother. You have to stop thinking so much about fucking Mr. Negative, brother. Fuck. And you can also nerf them by upgrading the mana cost, you know, like he said, put the Cosmo at 4 energy, like a 4-2 or 4-1, something like that, I don't know. Exactly, Mr. Negative is draw dependent. He wants to push a lot of power, so you don't want to play a Cosmo, you want to play a song on reveals. So who fucking cares about Mr. Negative? Hey, that is a cool idea, Garis. Like a club, but that enchants another lane. Stuff like that on reveals that fuck with other lanes instead of your own. That could screw with Cosmo. And not only for Cosmo, that is a cool idea for a lot of design space in the game. So that is cool, brother. Cosmo sucks dick.
roll into them maybe 2 or 3 times feels super bad, especially those who have limited collections, right? If you don't have Leader and you keep getting rocked by Leader, and it's not like, oh, well, you'll just get them eventually. Well, dude, that could be a month or 2. Like, the collection is progress.
Brother, and even if I find the Leader, I have the Leader, and I hate the Leader. I even hate when I win with the Leader because it isn't fun. Fuck the Leader.
Is quite slow. Leader could be your last card in pool 3, and that is, we're talking like collection level 3000. So it might take a while before you even have the opportunity to play with that fun tech card, if you want to call it fun, to finally squash all of the
of course it isn't fun, Drew, my bro. I love that comment. Like, if you want to call it fun, nobody calls it fun. Bro, Code, I know you love the Leader, brother. And I feel like you hate when I say fuck the Leader, but fuck the fucking Leader, brother. I know you are a Leader believer.
Opponents that have been smacking in the face with the big green guy. So, like, come on, I don't know. It's just a bit frustrating when it's limited collections. It also the deck experimentation. Like, I'm just nervous to create some kind of crazy on reveal deck because I know Cosmo exists. Or like, what if I'm really setting up a big turn 6 power play? Well, if Leader's everywhere, that's not going to work out for me. So
oh, brother, yes, I know, brother. You like the chaos, bro. That is cool. That is fucking cool.
All of a sudden, when I'm building decks, I'm trying to think of the meta, which is healthy, okay? We have to bring it back. I know I'm pushing on the pedal a little bit against tech cards, but I'm going to bring it back. It's good that I have to consider the meta when I'm deck building. That's healthy. It's always going to be around. There's always going to be a meta. I always have to consider it when I'm building my my decks. But right now, we are in a rough meta where this is really limiting the deck creativity, and collection progress doesn't help it. So I just want,
because you have to play the Leader or something that beats the Leader.
Wanted to mention those. I'm really curious to what people think about these, but let's get into the good. So tech cards are necessary. That's kind of what I was saying by a necessary evil. You know, you might get shut down every now and then. It's going to suck, but we need tech cards. If anything, to be totally honest with you guys, I want more tech cards. I want all kinds of crazy tech cards, as long as they find a better balance, because I think on average they should have worse stats. They should have more restrictions, so that you have to really skillfully find a way to play these cards, because they can make for some really skillful deck building and play patterns. If you have a Cosmo that's difficult to play, difficult to read your opponent's play on, it's great to play him at that location.
And that is exactly what happens with Enchantress. I love when I have an Enchantress and I can try to defuse, for example, a 6-turn play where I know the opponent is going to play something like Cerebro Mystique or Patriot Mystique, but I don't know where he's going to play them. He has 2 lanes open, or maybe he's going to play 1 in one and 1 in the other, and you have to play your Enchantress accordingly, and on top of that you have to take into consideration the initiative. So that is a way where it is difficult to play the tech card. And if you do the stuff right, well, you completely destroy their strategy. That is how it has to be. But the Leader doesn't have that problem at all. The Leader doesn't have a problem. That problem is inexistent with the Leader, dude.
Shut your opponent out. That's gonna feel great. Or like another one is Rogue, which I didn't even have in the examples, but like you Rogue and steal a Devil Dino thing at the very end of the game, maybe. Like that's like a huge big play, and then you get around the Leader as well. Like there's a lot of skillful plays that come from the tech cards that can make for some really fun and exciting moments, and I do not want to lose that. If anything, I want more of that. I just feel like some of these cards need their numbers tweaked. For instance, KM Best said that he thinks almost every tech card should have its power reduced by 1, except for Enchantress. I think that was the only one that he said is in a good
even
state.
By 2, even by 2, my brother.
Why I think Enchantress is a perfectly balanced tech card. So Enchantress, a 4-cost 4 power, so almost the same stat line as Cosmo, right? Well, not really. When you only go up 1 power for 1 cost, that's like a negative, okay? If anything, to be on the same level of Cosmo, she should be like a 4-6, 4-5 at the very least.
Exactly.
Okay? So her power level isn't good. And her on reveal can be countered by, you guessed it, Mr. Cosmo himself. Look at this puppy dog. It's running rampant. It's crazy. So there you go.
And you cannot guess where he has... Well, if he played first, you can, of course. You play the Enchantress in the lane where he has the stuff. But if you are trying to do what I said, like trying to counter a turn 6 play with ongoing abilities, like a Cerebro or a Patriot, Cerebro Mystic, Patriot Mystic, you have to guess where he's going to play. And to take into consideration the initiative. So it is not the same as a Cosmo.
It's not an ongoing ability. See, Cosmo's ability, it can't be.
Baron Mordo sucks. And I have a deck where I played Baron Mordo, the Ronan deck. But Baron Mordo sucks big dick, brother. But that was in a time where you could climb with any deck. And that is what I want Marvel Snap to come back to, brother. Like a month or two ago, like in October. In October, the meta was fun as fuck, brother. You could climb the ladder and get to infinite with any deck you wanted. Every deck, it didn't matter how sucky it would be. Like you could have the worst deck in the game, but you had fun with that deck, and you said, well, I'm going to snap and retreat appropriately, and you would climb with the worst fucking deck possible, dude. Those were the fun times, and in those times, I had a Ronan deck that included Baron Mordo, and it was a fun fucking deck, and it could win, and it could win a lot of fucking games, dude. A free leader in their hand, exactly.
Be stopped. Once it's an ongoing, the only way to get rid of that ongoing would be with Enchantress or a Rogue, right? But you can't because Cosmo shuts those down. And it doesn't matter with reveal priority. So you literally can't counter that dog. Whereas Enchantress can actually be countered quite easily. Not to mention, if you can't Cosmo Enchantress, her ability only goes at once. It's an on reveal, not ongoing, right?
Exactly. You can play another ongoing after the opponent already played his Enchantress. And now you know he already played his Enchantress, so there is no way he takes this another ongoing that I'm going to play. And you can play another ongoing safely. With Cosmo, that doesn't happen because he's for the whole fucking game.
So if you didn't hit the ongoing cards that you wanted, well, you can't just do it again, or they can play ongoing cards there without worrying about Enchantress happening again. It's already taken place unless you Odin her for some reason. That could be like a mega big brain play, but like that, you don't see that very often. And lastly, similar to Cosmo, she only affects one location. There are some cards, let's talk about Killmonger, that affects the whole board. Dude, I'm trying to play a flood deck with a bunch of 1-drops, and Killmonger happens on like turn 5, and my entire board's gone in my deck.
There are decks that you can't play when there is a lot of Killmonger in the ladder. Like the bounce deck. I love the bounce deck. The Falcon Beast Collector deck. That is one of my favorite decks. If there is a lot of Killmonger in the ladder, you can't play that deck because you will get shot down a fucking lot and they will destroy you. And of course, the infamous Kazoo deck is also counter-had by Killmonger. So yes, Killmonger is fucking too strong, dude.
Deck theme is dead?
Enchantress is fine at 4-4, but I believe that at 4-3 she will be fine too. She will be fine too. At 4-4 she's not a problem. I don't feel like Enchantress is oppressive, but I feel like at 4-3 she would still be cool, you know. She will still work.
That's insane. Like, I think Killmonger should only destroy like the first 3 1 costs played, or maybe only like a certain amount or at a certain location. The fact that he hits the entire board is just wild. Okay, let's get back to the good. Back to the good. Control decks. They're fun. I've enjoyed control decks in almost every genre, every card game I have played. And to top
exactly.
off, even though there's a lot of collection problems in Marvel Snap, at least you get a lot of these tech cards early on, right? Enchantress, Cosmo, Killmonger. In fact, during beta, because flood decks were so abundant, they actually dropped Killmonger.
Brother, I love Juggernaut. Juggernaut is one of my favorite cards. I like the art, I like the character, I like the typography and the logo, I like the animation, and I like the ability. I like the mind games that Juggernaut provides, brother. And if you look at it, they gave a good start line to Juggernaut. He's weak in power because his ability is strong.
And Sandman down to Series 2 so that players had access to those counters or those tech options earlier on to kind of mitigate the meta that way. And I think that would be a great way to balance the meta a little bit, is start dropping more cards from Series 3 to 2 to give players the access to those cards a little bit earlier. That could shuffle things up. Right now, the way it is, probably not, but we'll see. And a last quick note is that locations can act as the counters as well. So not only are you getting countered by like your opponent's stuff, but your locations can counter them as well.
Exactly. This happens to me a fucking lot. I'm playing a deck that it is not an unrevealed deck, but has a bunch of unrevealed abilities. The opponent plays Cosmo on one lane, and another lane is fucking nowhere. So I am screwed, and I can do any fucking bullshit in this game, dude.
And I actually think that's a good thing. I like it when the locations restrict certain decks. Just make it so you have to be a little bit more creative in where you play the cards. If you do have an ongoing deck and the Isle of Silence shows up, well, you're obviously not playing there. You got to find avenues elsewhere. It makes value for your opponent's Enchantress skyrocket. But if it's like nowhere and then, I don't know, like Sinister London and my opponent gets 2 Cosmos and all of a sudden the entire board is no honor reveals, I'm like, what am I doing with my Black Panther? Like, get me out of here. I'm smashing the retreat button. But I like it how there are locations that restrict certain deck archetypes. It's just another way of kind of balancing the game. But again, we just have to look at these tech cards and maybe make some changes. But anyways, that's just my quick couple of takes. I thought this was a really interesting topic when I heard about it from those 2 content creators. I'm interested to know what you guys think. My conclusion is I love tech cards. I like counter cards. I don't even know what you want to call them. I'm running with tech right now. But essentially, I like them in the game. But when they are too frequent, when they are all bundled together in one deck, and that is at the top of the meta and shutting everything down, it is a problem.
It is not fun.
And there's a few.
It is a problem. It is sucky. And the worst of all, it is not fucking fun. Because like I said, in October, I could play every fucking deck that I wanted, and I could rank the ladder, I could win games, I could have fun. Right now, there is no fucking way of doing that, brother. And that sucks. And that was one of the things that hooked me with Marvel Snap, that I said, brother, this game has no meta. Or it had a meta. Obviously, it had a meta, but it wasn't like a setting a strong meta that you have to follow like in other games, because you could take a deck out of nowhere and have success, you know. The meta in Marvel Snap was more diffused, more diluted, you know. But now it isn't like that, and I hate that, brother. I don't know if the global launch affected that. I really don't know. But October was when the game launched, and it was still cool. And November was cool. The problem started in December, brother.
Few cards that I think need to get whacked with the Nerf bat. I'm going to put out a patch prediction video soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm just going to have some fun and think about some possible changes to a few of these cards and a few of the other ones, okay? Because we are probably getting a patch with the new season, which is going to be this next Tuesday, so it's pretty hype. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. Comment below what you think about tech cards in Marvel Snap, if you think it's a problem, and if you think it's fine. Let me know. Anyways, thank you, and I'll catch you next time.
Bro, Drew, this was a fucking cool video. And yes, I agree, tech cards are necessary for the game. They are healthy for the game, but tech cards in Marvel Snap are too strong at the moment, and they are bullshit, and they are not fun. Enchantress is fucking cool. I love Enchantress. I love Rogue. I love Sandman, because that is the way that tech cards should work. Like those cards, they function to counter what they want to counter, but they aren't overwhelming. The other tech cards like Cosmo and the Leader are fucking overwhelming. So they have to balance that bullshit, and maybe there will come a point in the future where they do it, and I hope that happens. Thank you for this video, Drewberry. It is fucking cool. I agree with a lot of what you say. A good insight, and the designs that you put in the screen, the charts and whatever, were fucking cool too. Thank you, brother. Fucking cool, dude.